Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Grayboardgamer here with a playthrough of Villains and Valor, which is an expansion pack for the Venom Assault deck building game, which will be running until May 23rd. As you can see, I already have the game set up, so if you want to see a video on the setup, you can find that here on the Kickstarter page or on my Grayboardgamer channel under the first Venom Assault playthrough that I did. I kind of modified the setup that I did here so we can see more of the expansion material come up on the Freedom Squadron deck and the Venom support decks. I added all the new cards from the expansion in and shuffled them into the top half of those decks, so we'll see a lot more of them come up. And over here with the Venom leader deck, I also shuffled all of the new Venom leaders into the deck, so we'll hopefully see quite a few of those during the playthrough also. And the event deck is full of new events, including the dual events that we'll see come up quite a bit too. As you can see, I don't have my mission card face up here because I'm doing one of the new missions, and I'll put that up on the screen here. And it's one of the red line missions, which means it's going to be one of the hardest ones. So I don't expect to do really well here, but the object of the video is just to show you as much of the material as possible. The scenario that I'm doing will be Assault on Liberty. The Global Operations Force now has enough personnel to take the assault to Venom's doorstep. Lone Star, Uplink, Tracker, and Iron have been tasked with locating and scouting out a number of potential Venom bases. Freedom Squadron must hit them hard, and after dislodging Venom if they've taken root, fortify and hold the bases. Freedom Squadron can finally start denying Venom their bases and shutting them down once and for all. The setup for this scenario is a lot different because all of the Venom leader and reward cards are still here. You notice that none of them are out in any of the zones. And as we go through the scenario and hit the recruitment and tactical phases, you will see these zones start to get populated by Freedom Squadron, by Venom support cards, and by Venom leaders. And what we need to do in order to win is Freedom Squadron has to have all 7 zones fortified. And if at any point that we have Venom leaders in all 7 of these zones, we lose. Also keep in mind that these are prototype cards. Some of them will not have the final art on them. Some of the rules may change through playtesting. But I will place the new material on the screen as it becomes revealed throughout this gameplay. We are ready to begin. I will do this as a 2-player game, just like I did for my other playthrough, and the commander token will be here with our player on the left. I've already drawn my starting hands for both players, and each of their decks are here in these card holders. Let's begin with our commander here and start our game of Venom Assault, Villains and Valor. Since it's our commander's turn, we have to perform the event phase. So we will draw, and it's one of the dual cards that we see here. Payment to Doomsday. Venom's newest recruit, Torrent, threatens to wash away the U.S. West Coast with his Vortex weapon unless they surrender. Freedom Squadron launches an aerial mission to capture him and his new weapon. Global effect during the tactical phase. Any combat in an air zone this round allows the player to place the top 2 cards from their draw deck into play, but increase the Venom leader's support by 3. And that symbol in the bottom right of the card is the symbol for this expansion. The drill sergeant's had mirrored glasses of Corporal Carnage. That event will probably not affect us very much since we don't have any Venom leaders in air zones or on the board yet. That'll move us into the recruitment phase for our commander. We have to apply any global effects. We don't have to worry about that. With this particular scenario, during the recruitment phase, the active player may fortify a zone by using a card from their hand or paying the recruitment cost of a soldier or vehicle that's in the training ground. Then they place that card in any open or Freedom Squadron controlled zone. If we're going to place cards in here to fortify these zones, they have to have combat value in order to protect the zones later on. If you just put a bunch of zeros there, they're not going to protect it at all. The only card I have right now that I could place there is my Commando that has 2 combat value, and I should probably do that. I do have 4 recruits here, which will give me 8 recruit points, which I can use to purchase almost anything except the War Maker, but I couldn't purchase that even if I kept my commander. So I will take my Commando card and play it to fortify one of the zones. And I'll go ahead and send my commandos to Venom Island. We're still in the recruit phase, so I'll take my 4 recruits, play all of them. That'll give me 8 points for purchasing. We have Glacier available, the Trailblazer vehicle, Lynx, and Stretcher. These 3 cards on the right are all from the expansion. Since I have 8 recruitment points, I can't purchase multiple things. Even if I started here with the 3, I wouldn't have enough to get something else. I think I'm going to go for Lynx, one of the new cards. We see Lynx cost us 6, will give us 3 recruit points, and has a combat value of 3. Here in this expansion, teamwork is front and center. So teamwork during the tactical phase, Lynx can have the active player place 1 vehicle from the training ground into play. Then they retire that card at the end of combat. That's really useful if we have a strong vehicle that can help us that we just need right away. And the way the teamwork card works is this player here, our commander player, when it's not their turn, when it's the other player's turn, can play Lynx during the tactical phase and use that teamwork ability, and then they would discard that card. Lynx is also good during tactical phase on the commander's turn because it gives our freedom support vehicles a +1 to their combat value in addition to anything else they already provide. Lynx is purchased and will go into this player's discard pile. We don't have enough recruitment points to do anything else, which will move us into the tactical phase. And here, the scenario kicks in again. At the beginning of the tactical phase, place a Venom leader and reward card into an open zone of the active player's choice. Which zone do we want to assign this Venom leader to? We don't have any cards right now that are any distinct advantage, but we do see Glacier here that really provides an advantage in the Arctic. So we'll take our reward card face down and throw it here on the Venom mountain base. And the leader that will be there will be one of the new cards from the expansion, and that's Gorilla. Starts with 3 health, 4 defense, and 3 Venom support. Any constrictors that are supporting Gorilla have double their abilities' effects. During the tactical phase, a maximum of 2 freedom support cards may be chosen to combat against Gorilla. Ouch. So we can't take a bunch of people in for support. Now, it does say a minimum of 2 freedom support cards may be chosen. So if there's some abilities that allow you to add more freedom support that are not chosen, maybe I can get around that. All I have in play are these recruits, which all have 0 combat value, so I can't launch an attack on Gorilla right now. Not that it would be a good idea. So we'll skip over the rest of the tactical phase and go right into the retirement phase. I'm not going to retire any of my recruits yet. Still need their recruitment points. That's the word I couldn't remember. So they will go into my discard pile also. Gorilla doesn't have any global effects that take place here at the end of turn. We won't do the filling empty zones with Venom leaders because it's different for this scenario. We'll refill the training ground, and we'll get Bowser and Pit. So they will be available for 10 recruitment points. And we will draw back up. We should only have 5 cards here anyway. And this time around, we're going to have 3 commandos and 2 recruits. We're over here with our other player who has 3 commandos and 2 recruits. We'll skip over the event phase because they're not the commander. Go into the recruitment phase. And again, we can fortify an empty zone or a zone that already is controlled by us. We have several commandos here, so we should definitely do some fortification. We already fortified land, so let's fortify some air here with the Venom Sky Temple. We'll play our cards. The commandos will give us 1 recruitment point each for 2, and then 2 each for the recruits, so we have a total of 6. We could purchase Glacier, the Trailblazer, and that is it. Only those. I will go ahead and purchase Glacier to have an advantage in the Arctic zone where Gorilla's at. Place my purchase card in my discard pile. Taking us to the tactical phase where we need to add another Venom leader. I will go ahead and choose to add another Venom leader to the Arctic, since that's the only zone we have an advantage over right now. And we will get Void. Void is a tough one. Void has 3 health, 3 defense, and 3 Venom support. Void does have a global effect. Any Freedom Squadron card discarded by the active player on their turn outside of the end of turn phase is retired instead. This effect only happens a maximum of 2 times per turn. So let's break that down. On the active player's turn, if for any reason they have to discard, and it has to specifically be a discard, not like purchasing a card and placing it in your discard pile, because that's a purchase. That's not me discarding that card. If at any time I have to discard something, either by my choice or the game makes me discard, that card is retired out of the game. So Void is a tough card to deal with. I played through a scenario, one of the old scenarios with Void, and then Void and Ouroboros were on the board at the same time, and I got destroyed because Ouroboros makes you discard cards all the time, and Void makes you retire them. So, I mean, it was hard to keep anything in my hand. So Void will be up here in the Venom Arctic Stronghold, and we are going to want to go after Void as soon as possible because that global effect is in every phase except the end of turn phase. And it also does not apply to teamwork use. If I use a teamwork card, you have to discard it after you use it, but it's teamwork. It's not really a discard. It just goes to your discard pile after the teamwork action. So Void does not make those cards retire. I do have a couple of commandos here that would give me 2 strength as a leader, and then 3 more for a total of 5 dice. I don't have anything here for teamwork to help me out, and Void is going to get 3 Venom support. I don't think it's a winnable battle at this point, so we will skip past that and go to the retirement phase. We're not going to retire anything because I have a feeling Void is going to make us retire some things. Oh, let's refill here, and we have Hollow Point. Nice. That is another one that is an advantage in the Arctic zone. So far that's working out for us. We need to get our cards and get to the Arctic and take these Venom leaders out. And there's only 5 cards there, so we'll have 1 commando and 4 recruits. That brings us back to the commander, so we need to discard and draw a new event. And we will get another duel. Secret of the Andes. Freedom Squadron learns that Venom has located an ancient frozen Incan priest in the Andes that may have knowledge of how to enter Shambhala. Now they must save the priest before Venom gains his knowledge. Global effect. Tactical phase. Any combat in an Arctic zone, this round increases the combat leader's combat value by +2. Nice. But before a combat leader is chosen, draw 1 event card. Ignore Freedom Squadron events and resolve Venom events. All effects stay until the next phase. So we get a +2 to our combat leader's value, but then we have to get another event card out, ignore anything that helps us, and only resolve the stuff that helps Venom. Wow, that's, I don't know if we're going to want to make an attack yet. We do have commandos. We could send one of them to fortify a location that's open. I'll have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll end up with 7 recruit points, which if I get rid of a commando, I'll only have 6 and only make the Trailblazer available to me. I will get another commando out, and we will start fortifying the sea, the Venom underwater station. It's going to give us 6 recruit points. Our only option is the Trailblazer. The Trailblazer is a vehicle. It gives us 3 recruit points. It cannot be a combat leader. The Trailblazer does give the teamwork ability during a tactical phase that the active player's combat leader gains +3 and the Venom leader gains +1 to their Venom support. That's a pretty good trade-off, actually. To get 3 more dice for 1 more Venom support. Well, it depends on which one comes up, I guess. Or during the tactical phase, I can choose to decrease the Venom leader's health or defense by 1. That's also very nice. That purchase has been made. We'll place that to our discard pile. We go into the tactical phase, which is going to bring out another Venom leader. We only have 2 open areas. We'll go to the air this time. Put our reward down, and we're going to have to deal with Hacker. Hacker's a new card. The artwork is still in progress. Starts with 2 health, 4 defense, and 2 Venom support. The global effect during the recruitment phase of -3 recruitment points. That hurts a lot. We need to get Hacker taken care of. If combat fails, retire the top 3 cards from the recruitment deck. Whoa, Hacker. Hacker's no joke. Need to go after Hacker as fast as possible. We don't have an advantage in an air zone. If I were to attack, I have a commando and 3 supports, so I would have just 5 dice against a defense of 4 and 2 health. Well, there's a chance there. Our event won't take place because that's Arctic zones. I think I'm going to go for it. I think it's a long shot, but as long as Hacker's health stays low, we might have a chance here. Hacker starts with 2 health and 4 defense. We have our combat leader and our 3 support. Hacker does have 2 Venom support, so this is really going to come down to what kind of support Hacker gets here. First card is Venom Troopers. During a tactical phase, add +1 to health or +1 to defense, whichever is lower. So his health is going to go up. That's not a great thing. And we're also going to have another Venom Troopers. That really stinks. That really crushed our chances for the most part because his health is now 4. It went up 1 each for each Venom Trooper. But we still have to roll the dice. We have 5 dice. 4s are successes. So if we can get 4 or higher, we do take Hacker out. I was really hoping for only a bump of 1 in health. But if we roll really good, and we roll really bad, and I see 3 1s, that's not success. Well, that went poorly. We did not take Hacker out, so we'll discard the Venom support cards. And I almost forgot, Hacker causes me to retire the top 3 cards from the recruitment deck. So we're going to retire the Carnage Dome. Oh, that hurts a lot. The Juggernaut. Man. And Stretcher. Well, at least we have a copy of that out right now. And we're going to end up with Rex. He's pretty good too. But costs 10, so we have a 7, 10, 10, 11, 8. Which means we're in trouble because Hacker makes it really difficult to purchase things. We come over to our other player and begin the recruitment phase. Again, we're going to be at a -3 for recruiting. So we'll play our cards. That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, which means I can purchase nothing because that takes me down to a 6 and the lowest one is a 7. That'll take us right to our tactical phase, and since I am not going to fortify because I want to attack Hacker, I will populate the captured oil rig with a new reward card and Venom leader. And we're going to have Thrash. Thrash starts with 3 health and 3 defense, gets 4 Venom support. Oof. During the combat phase, reroll a number of successes equal to the combat leader's combat value. If combat fails, retire a number of cards from the training ground equal to the combat leader's combat value. Wow, between Hacker and Thrash, we're going to go through our whole deck here. But I do want to attack Hacker, give it another shot. We're going to go after Hacker with our commando and 4 recruits. And we're going to team up here with the Trailblazer. During the tactical phase, the active player's combat leader gains +3 combat value, which will give me 3 more dice. But the Venom leader is going to get +1 to their support, so Hacker's support is now 3. Hacker will get a Sky Claw. That's one of the new ones. During the tactical phase, discard 1 freedom support card of your choice. And this is an air zone, so retire the chosen card instead. So we will lose and retire one of our recruits. And we'll get another new one, the Ice Badger. Here in the tactical phase, when drawn, discard all freedom support cards. Are you kidding? and redraw an equal amount of cards. Combat must continue reapplying any Venom leader's abilities. We're not in the Arctic zone. So I have to discard all freedom support cards. This is a discard action, so Void comes into effect, and it can happen up to 2 times during this player's turn. So 2 recruits are discarded and retired. And this one will just go to the discard pile. And now I have to redraw 3, which means I have to shuffle these. Draw 3 more. I imagine it's going to be pretty much the same. Well, now we got Glacier in support now. Let's see. During the tactical phase, lower the Venom leader's defense by 2. Yes, I will take that. And the final Venom support are the Headhunters. During the tactical phase, add 1 defense, lower the combat leader's value by 1 for every Venom leader I've captured. I haven't captured any, so that's good, at least in this case. Now we apply the Freedom Squadron's tactical phase abilities, and Glacier is going to lower the Venom leader's defense by 2. That's much more manageable. But now we need to apply all the Venom support abilities. I already did this. I should have waited, because that should have happened now. Which means I should have drawn 4 cards because of the Ice Badger instead of 3, because that one that I retired should not have happened yet. So I'll have another recruit here. The Ice Badger already took place because it happens when drawn. The Headhunters will take the defense back up 1. Thank goodness that dropped, otherwise we'd be looking at 5 defense. Now we're in much better shape. We get to roll 8 dice. We need 2 successes, so 2 dice need to be 3 or higher. Lots of successes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We took Hacker out. Hacker has been defeated, so now we have 1 captured Venom leader. And we're going to get the secret access codes. Mirage finds a list of secret access codes in the records that she is sure will literally open new offensive paths into Venom's other strongholds. Tactical phase, once per game. Use this cards to give all Freedom support soldiers in combat this turn the following ability, in addition to any they already provide. Tactical phase, combat value +1. Venom's support has been discarded. There are no spaces in the training ground. So we will discard and we'll draw up to our new hand. We only have 2, so I need to shuffle. And we ended up with 3 commandos, 2 recruits, and we only have 2 cards in our draw deck. We got hurt really bad by support card and by Void. We lost a lot of our recruits. But we did take Hacker out, so we don't have to worry about having all those recruitment points taken away every time. The commander's turn is up, which means we need to do the event phase. We will get rid of the current event and draw the next one, and it's a Venom Strikes. Venom's sinister plot advances. Move the event track up by 1 and see the mission for the effects. That will be the first time that Venom strikes, causing us to move up 1 on our event track. The first event on our Assault on Liberty scenario, Venom pushes back. Reveal 1 Venom support card from the deck per player. Place that card in any Freedom Squadron controlled zone with the same type of occupant. We have 2 players, so we need to draw 2 cards. The first one is Komodo. That is a vehicle, and I don't think I have a vehicle anywhere, so I'm not quite sure how that works. Next we have another vehicle, the Harvester. That's one of the new ones. I contacted and got an answer from the developer. Whenever you draw something that you cannot place, in this case I drew vehicles, and I don't have any fortified locations with vehicles, you just discard it and move on. So in this instance it was a very good thing that I only had places fortified with soldiers. But that's probably not going to pay off for long because there are more soldiers in that deck than vehicles, I believe. So this strategy that I have here will probably not pay off later on, but in this instance it did. We'll see how it works out going forward. We have the second half of our Venom strikes. It has a global effect during the combat phase. If combat fails, place one Venom support card face down by that Venom leader. This support card will be used in addition to any other Venom support cards the leader draws during their next combat. That means before I attack a Venom leader in these next couple of turns before the event changes, I want to be pretty sure I'm going to win or have a really good chance. I don't want to risk giving them an additional support that they can use later. Unfortunately, here at the beginning of the recruitment phase, we only have recruits in our hand who have no combat strength, so I cannot fortify with them, which means we're going to get another Venom leader here after all. We'll play our 4 recruits and we'll get 8 recruit points, and we won't lose any since we got rid of Hacker. 8 recruitment points could purchase us Hollow Point or Stretcher. Let's take a look at Stretcher. That's one of the new cards. Stretcher has the teamwork power of preventing one of the active player's Freedom Squadron soldiers from being retired. Place that card in its owner discard pile instead. And that can help us against Void, because Void causes cards to be retired. Stretcher's not a strong combat leader, but look at that recruitment point, 6. But we also have Hollow Point here, who allows us to discard Venom support soldiers. And in the Arctic zones, which we have Venom leaders in both of them, we can discard an additional Venom support. I'm going to go ahead and take Hollow Point. Brings us to the tactical phase. We have an open zone, so we'll have to place a reward card and a Venom leader. And we will get Pitmaster. Pitmaster is one from the original game. 2 health, 3 defense, 3 support. During the tactical phase, after Venom's support abilities have taken effect, have the total combat dice given by all Freedom support soldiers rounded down. All I have is recruits, so I don't have any effective combat leaders. So we'll go right into the retirement phase. I won't be retiring any cards. We need to refill when we get Avalanche. Another vehicle that works well in the snow or in the Arctic zones. Discard. And draw 5 new ones. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's exactly what we have. I ended up with 2 commandos, 2 recruits, and links. Our other player has plenty of commandos here, but I cannot afford to fortify, seeing that I have such a thin deck here. My deck only consists of 7 cards, I believe, right now. And that's not going to do me much good if I get to a point where I can't draw 5 cards. I'll play my commandos for 1 each, my 2 recruits. That gives me 7 recruit points. And I can purchase Stretcher or Avalanche. And I'll continue with my Arctic theme and take Avalanche into my discard pile. I don't have a good enough hand to go after any of these Venom leaders. So we'll go into the tactical phase, and we have full zones, which means we'll have to draw a Venom support card. Maybe I will get lucky and it'll be a vehicle again. And it is very nice, the Razor Shark. And I don't have any vehicles in my zones that I'm fortifying. I'm not attacking, so we'll go into the cleanup phase. I'm not retiring anyone, and we'll add Tracker. Tracker costs 7, has 2 recruitment points, combat value of 3, and teamwork during the tactical phase. The active player's combat leader gains +1 for each card recruited this turn. In the recruitment phase, reveal a top card from the recruitment deck. You may recruit this card at -2. Return it to the top of the deck if not recruited. Go ahead and discard. Draw a new deck. I only have 2, so I need to shuffle. I ended up with 3 recruits, Avalanche, and Glacier.